Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show. How are you today? Leslie, straight in from Faro this morning. Bon dia, everyone. And joining me on the screen today, we have Ben from Spartan FX. Ben Amrany, how are you this morning?
Hello, good morning, Carl. Yes, very good. Very good. Hope all your listeners are well too. But yeah, very good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Just moved house actually. Yesterday, people who tuned in were able to see the backdrop of the garden and hear the birds singing. Today it's just the birds singing, and I've gone back to the magic of Hollywood, and I've got a green screen up again to hide an absolute multitude of sins.
I'm surprised you've got the time to do it this morning. I know when I moved, I was living in boxes for about 6 months, so always stressful.
Yes, I am too. And that's the beauty of the green screen. The green screen goes over a lot of it. And it might be for many months now as well. What is it with people from Spartan FX? Because when I spoke to Sarah last, she also had been moving house, I think.
She had, yeah, she moved. I think it was a few weeks ago. I think she's moved once, maybe twice in the last year or so. Yeah, she also told me she was living with a load of boxes. She had to have a few days off just to clear the place out and or settle herself in. Thankfully for me, I haven't had to move for about 5 or 6 years, but I have got my wife slowly nagging me saying, I think we should move again soon. I'm like, no, I've got no interest.
You're a wise man. You remember the pain. I always forget. I am still absolutely aching. And also, I've moved to the Silver Coast of Portugal, and I'm just tempted to just go to the seaside this afternoon and not bother. Just leave the boxes in the garage where they belong for the time being. Anyway.
I don't blame. Put it this way: where I am in London, if I had the chance to go into the seaside, I'd rush at it.
Well, we can see.
I just leave everything else and just sunbathe for a bit.
Yeah, you're in Spartan FX HQ, I think, because when you spoke to us last time, you're back in the office now. How's that for you?
Yeah, it's nice. It's been nice to get back to normality to a certain degree. It's just a lot easier when you can work without a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old under your feet. You know, you've the last year or so, you've been on the phone to a client, and you find yourself apologizing because there's a 4-year-old having a tantrum, or there's a 2-year-old that starts crying. I'm really sorry. They go, oh, it's fine. We can hear him in the background. We just know that you're normal that way. But no, it's nice. It's been lovely.
Brilliant. Okay, wonderful. And I mean, back with your finger on the pulse of currency. That's of course what Spartan FX are all about. And you'll tell us a bit more. And you can answer questions about currency and moving large amounts of money around with house purchases and so on around the world. Maybe a quick currency update if you'd mind. I think this is really exciting. We should have a jingle for this, shouldn't we? Currency update with over to Ben.
You could get some sort of drum roll going, Carl, next time.
Yes.
But look, in terms of the market at the moment, you've got sterling euro about 116.38, so that's come up about 1.5% in the last 48 hours. The euro dollar, so for all of our clients over in the US, the dollar has been weakening slightly. It's at 0.7078, or the inverse of that, 1.2138. And then for some of our clients down under, the euro Aussie dollar is about 155.01, which isn't too bad for our Aussie friends in terms of moving money over to Europe. So I can go on with a lot of other currencies, but then we'll just start going to countries all around the world, and we might be here for some time.
Yeah, how's the Escudo doing?
The Escudo, not something that I keep an eye on that often, I'm afraid.
Interestingly,
if I could trade it, I'd let you know.
Well, it's just gold coins now, I believe. So we'll say a little bit about that. You might have to go off to do a few deals before we do that. But, Peggy's shouting at us. Look, guest is very hard to hear. So I've turned myself down a bit, and if you could shout a bit more.
I think we had this last time. I'm not sure why. It must have something to do with the iPad that I've got, or maybe the box that it's in, the cover. So I can only apologise, and I will shout.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And your colleagues will probably rush in and wonder what's going on. Everything all right there, Ben? Bon dia from Mike Campion this morning, and Peggy saying bon dia todos from Prosecco. Peggy, we know her as. And yeah, you don't want us to shout too much in case you got a Prosecco hangover this morning, Peggy. Talking to Down Under, Mark in Oz is saying good morning to us as well. Bon dia, Carl from Paul. Hope the move went as well as a move can go. Yes, well said. Carefully chosen words there. Joel up in the north of Portugal, Matosinhos, saying bon dia from Povoa de Varzim, from Mark as well. And are you being diagnosed? It's the laptop mic. Says he's a psychic tech guy. He just tunes into you and tells you what the problem is. So. What I wanted to ask you as well before we have a quick look at the Escudo, and you stay with us for that if you wish to. But how does somebody get into foreign exchange into that glamorous career?
So, well, with myself, for my sins, I started off in real estate. I say real estate because I deal with so many clients in America, and they call it real estate brokers as opposed to estate agents. But I got into real estate probably back in about 1997, something like that. Did that for some time, had my own business. The financial crisis was coming 2007, 2008, and just decided to get out of that, try something different. And I just kind of fell into FX. I got approached by a fairly large company, went and worked there for about 7 odd years, and it was just very different to what I'd ever done. You know, if you imagine an estate agency, you're in an office, you've got 5 or 6, members of staff, depending on how big the agency is. And this was completely different. You got like a big open trading floor, 100 members of staff, a lot of boyish banter, I must say. So it was a very, very different industry, different atmosphere, and I just took to it, and then worked in the industry for many years, and then we set up our own company about 3 years ago.
Fantastic. Of which you're a director now.
Yes, I'm a director of this company, and we just, the difference between us and some of the larger firms that have all been taken over by private equity firms now, we just, our success is all based on the personal service. Everything we try and do over the phone, we keep ourselves available for clients around the world, even late into the evening. Many of our clients, and certainly some that come through Expats Portugal, they're over in America, Canada, some in Australia. So we keep ourselves available early in the morning, late at night. Many of them have my mobile number. They ping me WhatsApp messages all times of night. So I don't get much rest. My wife's on to go, who is that contacting you at 11 o'clock at night?
It's no wonder she wants to move. She's thinking all these deals, you must be making a fortune. Surely we can move again soon.
If only, yeah. She'd probably like a separate wing where she doesn't have to see me.
Well, it's interesting you say that you're preserving the sort of personal touch, and that's a definite USP about Spartan FX, is that you have that accessibility with customers, and people presumably aren't going to get that with other kinds of bigger corporate companies. It's unheard of, isn't it, to be able to ring somebody up late at night?
No, very much so. Look, a lot of the larger companies, or so-called larger companies, their staff aren't allowed to give out their mobile numbers. They're afraid that they're going to steal client information. So, because this is our business, we want clients to contact us. We're always on call. But also, many other big companies nowadays, they don't want to speak to people. They want to put them on an online platform. They can get on with it themselves. Where with us, certainly someone who is buying a property overseas is probably the biggest transfer they're ever going to do. So to have their hand held and have someone at the end of the line who's there to answer any questions, queries, and just give them the peace of mind. And that's the main reason why we do it like that.
Yeah, that's very reassuring in that circumstance, isn't it? And we've all been there in one way or another. I mean, it might not necessarily be moving a big amount of money, but whenever you're at the mercy of a corporation like that and you can't speak to them again until their lines are open, and you really are feeling a human connection, that's the problem, isn't it? Is that I just hope there are companies like yours stick around to be upholding that, and we don't have.
You can only but hope so. Yeah. Because it's very important. I know for myself, there's nothing more frustrating than, even if you buy something online. Like recently, my wife said to me, "I want our garden to look a lot nicer." So I went and bought loads of flowers and all different bits and pieces for the garden. Well, you can't speak to anyone at this online thing. It's like, no, you have to send us an email, or you have to use our online chat. And it just kind of gets frustrating. You think, do you know what? It's just easier to go to the garden centre. At least I can speak to real people and see people than do it
Yeah,
all online. Because if there's something you're not happy about, you want to be able to have someone on call like fairly quickly. You know, just pick up the phone, speak to their customer services. And there's too many companies now that have, you know, gone away from that side of it, which is a sad state of the world that we live in.
it is. It is. But what I'm also thinking is that you need to come on and give marriage guidance tips as well. You're obviously doing a very good job with your
Oh,
missus.
yeah.
You know,
I don't know if she would. I don't know if she would say that.
all right. Apparently, people miss the Escudo. I only know it as a historical thing, and obviously, I think it was 1990 in the 1990s. The Portuguese Escudo was a currency of Portugal. I'm reading from Wikipedia now, so I'm actually giving you as good as you're going to get in terms of
Right. Okay.
accuracy. But prior to the introduction of the euro on the 1st of January 1999, and the removal of the Escudo from circulation on the 28th of February 2002. The escudo was divided into centavos. The word escudo, get this, and I don't suppose anybody knew this morning. The word escudo derives from the scutum shield, which is a bit like them in the movie 300. You know those great big man-sized shields that Roman centurions used to use? That is a scutum shield, everybody.
Or a
Mark,
Spartan shield.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't love that movie? And I suspect you occasionally go around the office when you've done a good deal. So this is we've done this before, haven't we? But
We have. We
I
have.
can't resist it. And I wasn't just saying that so that I could do that again.
Carl, you can come to our next Christmas party. You just have to promise you dress up as a Spartan.
I'm there. I am there. Hello,
Maybe we'll
Carl.
do it in Portugal.
Yes, sounds even. The weather will be better for wearing capes
It will be. Yeah.
and tight leather underwear, I think. You weren't expect to have this conversation this morning, were you? Hello,
No, definitely
Carl.
not.
I have raised coins on my garden and escudos as well. So it sounds like the Portuguese were saving all their coins and have buried them in the garden for future reference to give them to the grandkids or something.
They're hoarders by the sounds of it.
It
Yeah.
does. Tell us why. I mean, don't give us your address because that could be disastrous, Marcos. But why have you got the raised coins and the escudos in the garden? Are they in like a Long John Silver treasure chest there? Bon dia alegria from a bright and sunny Alvazara for now. Sunny for now, that is. Muito. I don't know if we're still getting told off here, Ben, by Peggy. Muito arrependido. Maybe I think it's an improvement. Uh, yeah, the Escudo days. So I knew we'd get a few Portuguese people nostalgic about this. Back when coffee was 50 cents. I mean, to be fair, it's only like 80 cents now, but I mean, that is I suppose that is quite a good big percentage rise. Adrian Caffrey, bon dia, are Green Shield stamps worth anything these days? I don't think Spartan FX trade any Green Shield stamps, Adrian. Nice try.
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
For those hoarders in the UK have still got stacks of them in the attic. Maybe Antiques Roadshow where you need to go with us. Bon dia, Carl. Go to the beach. The boxes will wait for you. They are not in any rush. Good advice, Stephen. Thank you very much. And Joel, Green Shield stamps not a thing in Portugal. Don't bring them when you emigrate. Green Shield are at 11. What is that? 1-to-1 with Tiger tokens as well. There probably is an underground market in these. Could be worse. Joel, a coffee here is about €3.5 in Australia, and a pastry or cake to go with it is €4 to €5. How much are you paying in London at the moment, Ben?
I was just going to say 50. I was going to say 50 or 80 cents for a coffee is good going. You go here. You're talking, a good £2, £2.50 for a coffee at least. A cake, another £2.50 on top of that. So yeah, it's not bad in Portugal.
Yeah, there you go. Sure,
Get
could be
good
worse.
value for money.
Yes, indeed. Even with the Escudo rise that we're not over yet from 1999. watching from Nepal. Namaste. Question for you, Ben. Where do you think the natural stable rate of the pound should ideally be against the euro? Yes, because it's been an interesting time, hasn't it? After we've seen the highs and lows of the past couple of years. So, what's its natural territory or relationship?
Well, I think that sterling euro in the next, year or so, certainly 6 months, I'd like to see it start to get back up to 120, stabilize over that. We've had, if you think back, sterling euro was, 120, 130, over 130 before the kind of financial crisis. We've had 10 years of hell really, from the financial crisis, the referendum, the Brexit deal, then the global pandemic. So you would like to think once things start to settle down again, that kind of 120 and above would be a good sort of realistic level. And you can only but hope, unless next year Scotland do manage to push for another referendum, then there'll be more uncertainty again, and the pound will just come back down again. So, but I think if it can push towards that 120 level, that'd be good. That would be very good.
Amazing.
You can only but hope.
That's a great question, actually, Gary. And for those in North America, the euro dollar relationship, where would you put that?
So again, at present, it's around 120. Over the last couple of years, the dollar was actually one of the strongest currencies, and the exchange rate was, at 1.08, 110, which again for our US friends was very, very attractive for moving money over to the EU. I would imagine if it's in and around the high teens, 120 again, that would be a kind of maybe realistic level for our US clients. We don't want it to go up to 130, but for all our EU friends, maybe looking at moving over to the US, if it can stay in the 120s and push higher again, that would be very good for them.
Very interesting, very interesting. And I'm reminded yesterday, my 9-year-old son was talking about dollars and euros, and I began to explain, and I realized I didn't know what I was talking about, how this all works. I mean, how do you explain to a 9-year-old how the different currencies of the world work in relation to each other? I don't put you on the spot, but that's what he asked.
Well, it'd just be very difficult, wouldn't it? In terms of, you can't explain how it moves around. I think you just say different countries have different currencies. So if you're in the UK, you buy things with pounds. But it depends on what sort of, how clever is your 9-year-old? Was he asking you really
much smarter? Well, obviously much smarter than me. He showed me up. I should have brought him in this morning to ask you that himself. But I could go back to him a little bit better off now this morning with that. But I suppose that's the way to pitch it, isn't it? How do you explain these things, and the historical background of it? I think is absolutely fascinating, and the idea that everything was, when I was reading about the history of the Escudo, how it was, first related to gold, literally, an amount of gold, and then it got related to sterling, and it was related to the dollar at a certain time, and then there were devaluations. That when the royal family were taken out here, it completely lost its value. It's fascinating. So he's got all of that to look forward to.
Well, let's just hope he doesn't start asking you about cryptocurrencies, because then you'll get very confused.
But what I need to keep away from him is the idea of their value, really, because he's going to be wanting to speculate on those. Yes, we have a kind of an interesting relationship with cryptocurrency, because I mean, what is your view on it? What do you think? I mean, in terms of currency trading, it must come up in conversation.
We get lots of clients ask us all the time about it, but because it's unregulated at the moment, it's not something that we deal in at all. Look, there's a lot of people out there that have invested in it. They've made a lot of money because it's gone up very quickly. How quickly will people lose money as well? Because as quickly as it rises up, 2, 3, 4, 500%, I'm sure there will be times where it crashes again. And we were speaking in the office, and we were saying, well, will it ever become a point where people are mainly using cryptocurrencies? And they're like, well, how can you, one day pay £1 for a loaf of bread, and then the next day it costs you £10, and vice versa. And the people selling goods, it just because the fluctuations are so wide from a day-to-day basis, we can't see how it would be that sustainable to buy your everyday goods with it.
Very interesting. I guess it's really early days, isn't it? And it's not for the faint-hearted, right? But it must be amazing for you and your team to see the screens, as you must have in the office, and see the curve of it. And it has had it did take a little bit of a bash, didn't it, a couple of weeks ago? But seems to be on the rise again.
Well, it will, but it will do. I think you just have to have a comment by Elon Musk about a crypto, and all of a sudden it will shoot up 300%, and then it will fall the next day by 200%. It's just look, if you're happy to take a punt on it, I'm sure there's a lot of money to be made. But also, it wouldn't surprise me if over the next few years you hear of a few people jumping off roofs.
The usual thing, right? The usual. I mean,
Yeah,
human nature. These are the cycles within cycles, and what we've learned before about everything that's come along and made some people rich. Others have
yeah,
tried to join it and have been stung at the end of the process, perhaps.
at the wrong
Thank
time. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that deviation into crypto there. Coffee $4 or $5 in the US? No, in Australia, Marcos. But even so, I'm sure even in the States, you're paying a lot more than your 80 cents. I mean, you can get a deal in Portugal still where you're getting a pastel de nata and a coffee for about €1, I think. So let's not complain. Yes, that sounds like a nightmarish proposition to Joel there. Popping in to say hello and wish everyone a great day. 300 was a great movie. Yes, no question. It's crazy, Joe. I am Joel. I'm well over it. Yes, with the coffee thing there in Australia. Good. And they do make a good flat white in Australia, though. To be fair, Gemini
Mm.
says, "Good morning, everyone." If it wasn't bad enough, an island having more deadly animals per capita in the world, things are expensive too. There goes a visit. He's never going there. That and Disneyland, he won't be going. I think that if Carl goes to the beach and leaves the boxes to another day, then Mrs. M will put him in his very own wooden box. There speaks a wise person. Yes, thanks for your help there, Paul. Be careful what you promise to wear. Yes, in dodgy territory there, capes and tight-fitting leather underwear. You have to be very determined to come here to Australia. True. Carlos Costa is here. Bon dia. And bon dia from the Silver Coast from Jacqueline this morning. Koalas. This is a very random conversation, Ben, this morning. If
I
your
can
kids
see, yeah.
if your kids ask you what you did at the office today, koalas, kangaroos, and dingoes. It's not coffee's price. It's jumping from $50 to 50 cents. I'm not sure what that means, Carlos. Basically, everything there can get. Look, he's being a right drama queen this morning, isn't he? Back to Escudos. Everything increased from one day to another. This is what happens when you change currency. It never works in favor of people, does it? I don't know if that's
No.
ever happened. If in decimalization, I remember as a small child in UK, but a lot of people were like really excited about it. And like everywhere else, when a new currency gets introduced, all the prices go up. It's as though it's
Correct.
planned. It's as though it's planned that way, right?
It's planned. You're right. There's something that cost, one euro ended up being €2 after.
Yeah,
Everything. It never goes in our favour.
yeah. Things that cost 100 escudos, 0.5 of a euro, start costing €1 on the next day. We all lost so much. That must have been a bitter day. And look at this. Even now, since 1999, Joel's mental conversions. But man, we need some sort of post Escudo counselling course if it's affecting you 20 years later. I struggle to see how that can be achieved as the impacts of Brexit keep rolling as the pandemic records. I hope you're right though. This is about the euro rate. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
it's fascinating, isn't it, Ben? I spoke to a mate in Hartlepool, scene of some very interesting political shenanigans over the last week. That up there on in the dock area of Hartlepool and is it Teesside? It's becoming a free port. Now, if that happens and there's like a Geordie Singapore up there, this is going to be good for currency for the pound, isn't it?
Well, it'd be good for the economy. Anything that's better for the economy, in theory, will help sterling in the long run.
Yeah,
That's what the country needs to see now. There's a lot of debate about Brexit, whether it will, make our economy grow or contract. So, time will tell. You just hope that they pull out enough trade deals with all the different countries that, pushes the country on. For my clients, to be honest, probably 70% of them didn't vote for Brexit. You get a few that did. When the pound crashed, they were crying, but they voted for it. So we'll have to. It's not something we're going to know for a good few years, the full
yeah,
impact.
yeah.
But yeah, look, Brexit is always something that, in theory, could hold the pound back. But there's, when we're talking against the euro, there's a lot of issues in the EU as well. And over the next 10, 15, 20 years, I think there will be a lot of things that change in the EU too.
Yes, very interesting. So one more question before we go. It's always very interesting and fun having you here from Spartan FX. Would the UK economy have to perform better than the EU for the pound-euro exchange rate to improve to 120? If in the UK the balance of payments deteriorates, this is quite a serious question now, and the tax revenue deteriorates, is it possible that interest rates increase, possibly encouraging buying of the pound, that will put further downward pressure on the UK economy? Any thoughts on that complex scenario?
It's very difficult when you start. Look, put it this way: in theory, if interest rates start rising, yes, it can be bad for the general people living here. But from the pound's perspective, you tend to find every time interest rates go up, the currency tends to strengthen. So let's say over the course of the next year or so, if inflation keeps going up, people's taxes, look, the pandemic, all our taxes are gonna go up here in the UK. We're gonna be paying for what we've been through in the last year for a long time. Taxes go up, but if at some point, interest rates are rock bottom at the moment in the UK. At some point, I'm not saying it will happen in the next year. It could be a year, 2 years, 3 years. At some point, interest rates will go up, and the pound will probably rise on the back of that. The thing that will keep the pound low is if we stay in a recession for a long time, and in theory, sterling will remain weaker. Against the EU, though, I still just kind of feel that for where the EU is at and the UK is at, trying to target 120, and I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but over the next 6 months to a year, you'd like to see there be a point in time where it pushes that 120 level.
Yeah,
maybe I'm being optimistic. Who knows?
No, fair enough. I love your insight on this, and all the Swallows will be loving that. Who've got a holiday home, obviously in Europe or at Portugal, anywhere in Europe. And it's it was almost like you were becoming the responsible for this situation. Obviously, this is just an insight into it. We can't blame Ben for this.
Just an opinion. I get clients all the time call me up and say, I've read this article and it says that the pound to euro is going to be at 110, and then someone else tells me they've read something else and it's going to be at 118. And I say, well, what you're reading is just one person's opinion, and they might be right, they might be wrong. And I said to them, but if they really knew, they wouldn't be writing the article. They'll be sailing around the South Pacific or the Caribbean. So it's, take as much information as you can, make as best you can an educated guess as to what you think might happen over a certain period of time, and then make the call. Should you buy it now? Should you hold off? And it's always our client's decision. We're just here to, hold their hand and give them the information that they need to help them make that decision.
And be available on a very personable and friendly way. Ben, it's always great chatting to you. Looking forward to seeing you again next month. And SpartanFX.co.uk. Mention our name, Expats Portugal. .com, and you can even ask for Ben by name, or Sarah if you prefer. Ben,
I must say, Carl, as well. We've assisted some of your lovely clients over the other side of the pond in America recently, in Canada. So they've all been really, really lovely people. Anyone else needs anything, they're welcome to contact us.
Oh, that feels like when you pick your kids up from a party. And people who are having a party say, "Oh, your children have been really well behaved. They're a credit to you." That's that's lovely to hear. Well done, Expats.
Your listeners are great. Well done, Expats.
We knew that, but it's lovely to hear that from a third party. Yeah. Cheers, Ben. Have a great day. Love to and all the best to you.
Well. All
right. Bye for now. See you. Bye. Ciao. There you go. Ben Amrany, a director at Spartan FX, the friendly people to do foreign exchange with, who you can ring at any time of the night or day. His missus is going to go mad eventually, though, with calls coming in at 11 o'clock at night. However, as you can see there, lovely bloke and friendly service at Spartan FX, and they've won all sorts of awards for what they do. Let's see what you're talking about, and let's talk a bit more about this Escudo. I can't believe that we didn't talk about Escudos before this, but maybe it's been a good thing, because I have brought up some sort of currency related PTSD for some Portuguese people. It's never good, like we said, like Ben was acknowledging, when the currency gets changed, the little people always seem to suffer. We might have this morning. I've got a couple of things for you this morning. Adrian, he's here now. I was just about to tell you about Miguel Frade from Techstore. Now I need to just bring him on screen and introduce him to you. This is Techstore Miguel. How are you this morning?
Hi. I'm fine, thank you, Carl.
Good, and you're a bit louder than Milan. It's an absolute pleasure. And now people need to know who you are, Miguel. You are from the Techstore in Anadia.
That's right.
When I came in and I was crying about Vodafone. Do you remember me?
I remember, like was yesterday.
Yes, and talking of post Escudo counselling, Miguel gave me the counselling for making my switch to Vodafone to Mayo. Now, this is a bit of a surprise for everybody on Consumer Tuesday, but Miguel is at your service. He is an independent, I don't know what the word is, broker perhaps, for the tech companies, for the mobile and broadband and fibre companies of Portugal. And he's independent, so he can tell us what the best deals are. So any questions you've got now about mobiles or broadband or fibre, here he is. We'll come back to the Escudo. We'll come back to those lovely comments and questions. But how are you today? And what are the best deals around at the moment, Miguel?
Oh, I'm fine. I literally just arrived at the store with a little girl of 2 years. It's not easy.
Really?
Yeah. It's a speedy morning, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
The best deals depends, because in Anadia, for instance, Mel is the strongest one.
Okay.
Because a few years back, Vodafone was the best operator in the market.
Yeah.
Regarding the customer service, regarding the services itself, everything in the package, sort of speak, was in the Vodafone side. But that shift when Altice bought Portugal Telecom a few years back. Okay. And right now, Mel is all on. It's the best company that we can have regarding customer services, services itself, technical. It's the best, but it's all about the zone. In some areas, Mel isn't there. In other areas, Vodafone is the best. So it's kind of trying.
Yes,
we have to try.
You have to. I mean, maybe the thing to do is to get the app and see what the strongest signal is when you're buying in Portugal.
Because we have to consider three main facts: the service itself, what we need, what do you need. You need a mobile very strong. You need a TV very strong. You need fiber very strong at the house. Maybe you are working from home. Now all of us are, right? So it kind of depends, because if you only want mobile, if you only want cell signal, there are some areas where Vodafone is the best. Near the border of Portugal and Spain, Vodafone is the best, because it has all that border covered. Mel not so good on that area, not quite. Nós, in some areas of the north of Portugal, are the best in terms of cell connectivity. So we have to check the zone, what you need, and then make the best package, the best deals for our customers.
Okay, and you can do this remotely, can you? From
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do it for you a couple of days ago. So I only need what the people want, mobile, home, whatever, the address, and the NIF number. I check everything up. And the name, the full name. It's quite an important thing. I check everything up. What's the best deal we can make it? What is the best company to offer it? And we propose it. And
fabulous. And the wonderful thing is you've got somebody here you can talk to in English. I know that's a bit lazy, but when you get into the technicalities of these things, it can be really good. And you know, Miguel, as he says there, remembers me walking in crying, and I'm like, "Desculpa, falo pouco português. Can I speak English to you?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." Like, oh,
why not?
And I remember the funniest thing.
I'm not the best English speaking guy, but
you've been amazing. You've been such a help to me, and that's why I wanted to get you on. And I hope you'll join us maybe once a month to talk about tech stuff.
Yeah, why not?
maybe we could talk about mobile deals before you go this morning. But I remember the funny thing that you said to me about Vodafone Gate and my struggles with Vodafone is you actually at one point in the conversation said to me, you know what, they're a British company. And I was like, you know,
yeah, I said that.
I was complaining about,
I remember.
Is it like this where it's a British company? They brought their customer service practices over to Portugal. So those are the three, for people who don't know, who are making their way here. And I think you're going to be a real godsend to them. You've got Vodafone, you've got Mayo, and you've got NOS, who are the three leading.
There is another one. There is another one, which is Novo.
Yeah.
NOWO. But their technology is not quite fiber as the advertisement said. So I will try to speak to break it down for you. So there are two kinds of fiber in Portugal. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's get back a little bit. Do you know a few years back where you have an antenna and you have the cable that connects the antenna to the TV, the small one, round one with the pin on the middle? Yeah.
Coaxial cable. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In Portugal, a few years back, NOS has installed fiber to the main box on the street. But from that box to your house, they used coaxial cable.
Okay.
Okay. So it's kind of a mix fiber.
Yeah.
Vodafone and Mel are the only one until a few years back. NOS in the present day, they install all the way fiber too. Until a few years back, Vodafone and Mel are the only two companies that put fiber since his headquarters to your house. Okay. Now, Novo does not have fiber at all from to your home. There is fiber in some areas, fiber to the box on the street, and then coaxial cable to your house. So Novo. In our sector, we have a saying: there is Mel, Vodafone, and NOS, and the others.
Okay, and why would anyone use the others, or is it best not to?
Price-wise, only that.
Okay. So,
but in my opinion, if you pay too little, you will get a too little service. Yeah,
exactly, absolutely right. I'm sure there's a Portuguese phrase that beautifully encapsulates that.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be many probably. So yeah, it's not worth trying to save money and ending up crying.
If you are going to a nice restaurant and you eat very good, but you pay very good money too, that's not a problem because you eat very good.
Yes.
If you eat bad and you pay too much, that's no good deal. In the case of Novo, they are like that. So.
Okay. I should say Miguel is here. Miguel Ferrad from Techstore in Anadia, independent retailer, and can help with contract. And John Rooney's asking, where can we find Miguel online? I've put this. Is this the right way on Facebook?
Yeah, Techstore Anadia. That's right.
So if you go there, you can ask him, send him those details. Obviously, everything revolves around a NIF number. I don't think he can help you with NIF numbers, but everything after that, he can help you.
Yeah. NIF numbers, it's a financial institution problem, not mine.
Yes, indeed. So very briefly, I know you're a busy man, but we would love you to come back to answer tech questions on a Tuesday. You're always welcome. On the mobile, so we've talked about broadband and fiber there, and how it's important to not just get fiber to the end of the street and then
that's right.
Have a tin can with some string on it. But in the world of mobiles, then, who's punching their weight with the mobiles? Which are the best deals in the mobile companies?
They're price-wise, they are neck to neck, head to head. Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of the special campaigns, I have access to special campaigns in Mel. For instance, if you have a Vodafone or NOS number, to maintain that number, we make a thing called portability. So you change network, you maintain your phone number. In that case, we have special campaigns to join Mel regarding other companies. But we have to make sure that you are not with the 24-month contract still in it. Because you don't imagine how many customers I have that say yes and sign contract to the door-to-door vendors, but they are still on the other company contract. So in the end of the day, they start to pay two contracts since they start to pay two contracts, and not only one, because the vendors say, "Oh, we can cancel everything. We arrange everything for you." No, not so quite.
I've been there. I'm not going to tell
everyone. Yeah. I know.
And what I didn't understand was, and the contracts are very serious in Portugal. It's a highly legal matter, and all of the companies, I think, won't hesitate to enforce their contract with you. You signed for 2 years, and one way or another, they're going to get that out of you. And the best way to deal with that is to take is to get service to the same amount, because they seem to be open to that. So rather than having a big huff and saying you're going to get the complaints book, they've heard it all before. You just need someone like Miguel to show you what the precedents are for managing it most easily. Go on, mate. Sorry.
If you want to cancel a contract, for instance, home service, but you don't have you don't have to worry about how can I cancel it, where is the lawyer, where are the little letters on the contract. You just have to pose to the company, so I want to cancel this. How much is for me on the mobile, so I can cancel this? And they are open to that. There is some situations where you have to enforce your will, so to speak, in the companies. Let's say you are trying to change address to another place where there is no services of your actual company. Well, there is a norm that say that you can do it without any penalty, but we have to how I can put it, but you have to know how to do it. And in that case, a lawyer is the best way to go. Because if you do not make things right, the company will enforce you a penalty, $500 euros.
And that's when you get that bill, which I have. And the other thing
you think twice.
And also there's this other thing, like €300. What's that for? Well, that's for our equipment. So don't ever leave the equipment in when you move. They want that back, otherwise they'll charge
when you cancel contract with any company, which I advise you to make is send a letter. Register the letter. Okay. Ask them for picking up the equipment in a time frame of 6 days. It's a week, maybe. But if after the 6 days they are no show, you pick it up, you go to the next store and leave it there, and ask for a paper that says, "Well, I gave this and this and this equipment." Because if you wait, it's a stone in the feet.
It is a stone in the feet. That's a Portuguese phrase, I'm sure. And there's always
uma
a
pedra
hammer.
no sapato. Uma pedra no sapato.
There's always a hammer, says Joe. You see, we see here Carlos Costa telling us things about Mayo. Joel saying, take a hammer to the equipment and deliver it as good as new. Portuguese people are upset about these companies as well. So you're not alone. if you have a problem. Miguel, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll come back.
You're welcome.
Let me put the banner on the screen. If you want this is how it works in Portugal, as far as I'm concerned. You've got to find good friends in the new Portuguese best friends. And I don't know if Miguel sees me in the same, probably not, but I see him that way because he saved my bacon so many times and helped me out. Having a friendly face, having a helpful person who's independent is so valuable. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for joining us today.
Thank
hope
you.
you come back next month.
Yeah, why not? We'll be here.
Fantastic. Have a great day. And you've got your daughter at work today.
Sorry?
Have you got your daughter with you at work today?
No. I leave it with my parents.
Okay. All right. Ciao. Have a great day.
Ciao. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Muito obrigado. Fantastic. There goes Miguel from Techstore Anadia, facebook.com/Techstore Anadia. Found him to be, you can imagine. I mean, if in case you didn't know, I had a problem with Vodafone once upon a time, and he was so helpful. He switched me over to Mayo, and with the house move, he made it very easy. I just emailed him, and he told me what to do, and I did it, and it's seamless so far. Notwithstanding, obviously, there are a lot of variables in that mix. You make a good point, Stephen, and this is where I was with it. You can pay a lawyer €1,000 to get you out of a €500 phone contract. Yeah, you've got to weigh up all the options, haven't you, and see if it's worth taking that sort of step or not. It may not be. Louise, what a great guest. Contact details saved. Yes, very handy for you, Louise, there. I am the stone in these companies' shoes for sure. I did to EDP. I don't have the issues say to any other companies how things should work. Funny enough, Joel, I can believe that about you, that you don't take any nonsense from any companies. Very quickly then, we have Ciao Miguel. You don't need to, you won't crash the show if you leave. Oh, he wants to come back on. Here we go. Sorry, mate. Go on.
Regarding this comment, sorry, I have to say something. Because in the energy sector, there are no 24-month contracts.
Okay. Is it 5 years instead?
No, there are no contract at all. You can choose today a company, and let's say next week you don't like the company, you can change it, no penalty, nothing. You just need to sign the new company, and the new company arrange the things with the other company.
But you don't do energy as well, do you?
No.
Okay, because that would be great if you did. No. And you say if you don't like the company, Miguel, I've not met anybody who likes EDP in the world.
It's the most pricey one.
Yes.
And it's not the best one.
No, it's true.
I can tell you there is I have a flyer over here. Let me take it. There are a small Portuguese company called Gold Energy.
There we go. Gold Energy. Zoom in on that. There he goes. Yeah.
Gold Energy. Okay. That have energy and gas. Okay. That are the cheapest one in the energy sector.
Okay. But you like it before. Is it false economy or is it cheap and good?
Cheaper and good. I changed my service on the store to them, and they give me this flyer, to deliver to some other customers. They are for me, it's the best one. I changed the store services. I changed my home services, my parents' services, my father's-in-law services. I changed all of because it's user-friendly company.
Oh, that's good to know, because EDP aren't, are they? Let's face it. So that's good to know. Gold. I'd not heard of that before. Thank you for that top tip as well.
You're welcome. I'm here for you. if you call them on this number.
Hold on. Yep. Let me just write that into the comments here. So we've got Portugal, obviously, 808
202 005.
Oh, sorry, 202. I don't want you ringing up at the wrong place.
There
you go. Yeah, okay. And
808 205.
Oh, I did have it. Oh no, people are going to be ringing up a pizza shop or something like that.
Yeah.
not good. Sorry, let's just get this right once and for all. So Gold Energy, and it's 808
2005.
Yeah, 202.
No, 005.
Sorry, can you hold it up again one more time? Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, I will put it on your private chat over here. It's more easy. It's this one.
Good man. Okay, fantastic. We got to get this right, because otherwise we will be ringing up a Chinese takeaway.
If you ring them, you can say that you are referred to Pagaki agent number.
Look at this. He's doing a deal. He's doing a deal this morning. All right, perfect. We've got the right number now. Do not use the earlier number, anybody, unless you want, you like doing that.
Yeah. Let me check. They give you a discount if you.
It's getting better every moment.
If you say this Pagaki agent number.
Okay. Well, it's no wonder your whole family have got this now.
And they launched a few days ago a new price table, which is Gold Energy Spot.
Yeah.
And this new this is only a common culture I see on TV. So this new price table, what it brings to the customers is the opportunity to have energy almost at the price cost. So let me say how this works. Every company buys their energy to the Iberian retailer, okay? And then they apply their margin and sell it back to the customers. Okay. The Gold Energy Spot is a price table linked directly to the Iberian price to the retailers.
Yeah.
So if in one day the retailing price lowers, your price on that particular day lowers.
Yeah.
If it goes up, your price goes up. But in terms of monthly wise, they are still cheaper than the fixed price.
Okay, all right. Paul Harrison pointing out, Ben was our last guest. This is Miguel now, Miguel Farad from Techstore Miguel. Of course, he's on commission, everybody. I mean, that's how this works. He's an independent broker for all. That's why Miguel's on this morning to talk about Mayo, Vodafone, NOS, see what the deals are, and making a recommendation from his own experience about gold there. And yes, I hope that's clear and obvious that this is how this man makes a living.
But I still want the best for the customers, so I'm not trying to cheat anyone.
No, certainly not. But I mean, I think that it's good to make. This is how you make a living, and you make a living by being good at what you do and finding the right deals for people. So there you go, and obviously he's making a bit of commission on that, and we welcome you back sometime soon.
Sorry, I have interrupted you on the show again.
Right. We will see next time you're on. We'll see if you are, if you're the golden boy of Gold Energy, or if you've put another stone in our shoe, and then people will be throwing those stones at the screen next time. So we'll bring him back. We'll bring him back next month on Consumer Tuesday to talk about phones, to talk about fibre, broadband, anything like that.
Anything,
with tech. Very, very helpful. One of my new BFFs.
Thank you, pal.
Ciao, ciao. See you, mate. Bye for now. Bye. There he goes. Miguel from Techstore Miguel. Just put that on the screen one more time so you know who you do. But yeah, of course. So it's how he makes his living with the commissions on these deals. But you are getting a bit of independence and a bit of a comparison, which you might not do if you march straight into the Vodafone store. I think Mark's got an interesting tale to tell, though, about Vodafone. Did quite well by the sound of it. Lots of lovely comments this morning. Here's Mark's comment. I was very fortunate when I arrived in Portugal. I signed a contract with Vodafone and was astonished that they said the tech guys would be out the next day to install the equipment for land phone, broadband and cable TV. Does anyone use a land phone anymore? Everyone's got them, but they don't use them, do they? Very efficient and effective service. I must admit that mobile phone reception can be variable as there are not as many masts as in the UK. Don't know whether that is universal or Vodafone specific. Being in a small city, I'm happy with the broadband speed. Excellent. Good to know. Yeah, I mean, I've had my ups and downs with Vodafone. When I drilled through a cable, they came the next day and they reimbursed me. It was my own silly fault, but they reimbursed me for lack of service and came and willingly, gladly replaced the cable that I drilled through, which I thought I could. You can't repair a fiber optic cable with a bit of gaffer tape quite in the same way as you can with electrical installations, I discovered. Like everything in Portugal that was a former state company is now privately owned. It's the way of the world, isn't it? As well as currency changes hurting the little people, it seems these sort of changes do everything goes privately owned, and it's selling off the family treasure of the country. Bon dia, a little late today, Ludwig. You're just in time to help us name Adrian Caffrey's vlog. He's going to be starting a vlog. He's got a lovely story to tell, which I'm going to tell for you now, just in the last few minutes of the show. But I think this is a lovely little story. Adrian, if you're still around, get on the screen with me and have a chat. The link is there to do that. I still have a house phone. It's needed. I need a land. Yeah, I know you need the land phone connection for the home and internet, but do you actually have a phone handset and you answer the phone? Matosinhos 1 2 3 4 or Diga or Estou Matosinhos, and then give out your number. Do people still do that and put on a special phone voice as well? I wonder. Okay, I want to read you this story now, or this email that I got in. This is from Adrian. Adrian, do jump on if you'd like to. And this is a lovely, lovely story, the story of his life, and or parts of it anyway. Love the show, says Adrian. Not sure whether this is the right email address or not. It certainly is, and you would tell me about your trip. You show up on the man cave, which is fantastic. Sometimes you get an early night as well, don't you, on a Friday? Don't stay up necessarily as late as the rest of us, but whenever we've had your company on a Friday night, it's been great to have you there, Adrian. And thinking about coming to Portugal, doing a very fast trip soon to look at buying a house possibly. Anyway, he says, I'm planning on starting a vlog, isn't everyone these days? It's true, about living in Portugal and traveling around making videos about all of the lovely places to see. And you'd be most welcome to send me segments of that. That should last me a lifetime. Then there's Spain, France, etc. for a few more lifetimes, says Adrian. Oh, and by the way, not to make anyone jealous, but we plan to spend the winters in Belize, where my wife Laurie's from, so she can see her mum, family and friends and all the Far East. Look at that, Belize. It's a beautiful place, isn't it? So we'll have lots of vlogs and blogs about those places too. This is the lovely part of the story. I met Laurie on New Year's Eve in 1987. Cue the Steve Wright music in the background, or Simon Bates, our tune. We met on New Year's Eve 1987 in San Ignacio, Belize, at the Grotto nightclub when I was building the Octavia Waite Center, which is an old people's home, as a volunteer. Anyway, we wrote to each other for 4 years. I visited Belize twice during that time, and Laurie came to visit. I convinced her to marry me, and we'll have been married for 30 years on the 3rd of October this year. How lovely. He said, I know it's not Steve Wright's Sunday Love Songs, but it could be. Sorry for the life story, but I thought I'd give you a bit of background, says Adrian. The thing I need is a bit of help with what to call the vlog, and would welcome any suggestions or ideas from your viewers. And he asks, is the GMP, is the Good Morning Portugal show, or the Man Cave the place to do it? He doesn't mind. And nor do I, but I think we might get a better idea of what to call it. So what do you call a vlog that shows you the best bits of Portugal? Like he says, there's quite a few people doing it. So the names are getting harder to choose, I think. So what would you, having heard that little bit of a story, he also tells me that he's got a Zoom call with a certain Senor Oliveira of the Millennium Bank in London. So you can set up a Portuguese bank account through Millennium in London. That's good to know, isn't it? He also runs a CV writing service, cvguru.co.uk, if you need that sort of thing. Oh, I ought to watch out here because he also has a degree in broadcast journalism, postgraduate degree in career guidance, and he used to be a brickie in Brum in the 1980s. He might have built your wall for you there, or any number of public buildings. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. If there's any way we can slot in my request, absolutely, that's what we're about here. I don't mind going on camera. I'm not shy. So, but he might not be here still because I did leave it rather late in the show. Oh, I'm free. Send me the link. I'm free. I think I just did there, Adrian. It's in the comments now. Click on that, mate. Put some clothes on and join us on screen. We're getting a few suggestions. Adrian's vlog. Is it just Portugal or elsewhere too? Looking like it's going to be Belize, France, Spain as well. Pearls of wisdom. I see what you did there, Gary. 30 years of marriage in October. Could be pearls of wisdom, couldn't it? I vlog about coming to Portugal. It's a great experience. Made lovely connections as a result. So Louise recommends that. Thinks you're onto a good thing there. And you say you're free, Adrian. Maybe I talk too much and you've gone now. Another name coming in from Louise. Portugal's best. That's good. I like that because that works both ways, doesn't it? Portugal is best and the best of Portugal there. I like that very much. I would put that at the top of the list so far. But do you know what? I don't think he's joining me, or he is putting some clothes on. He's calling himself Eric on screen, which is quite interesting. Unless, of course, someone else called Eric is joining me. No, Eric's gone now. Eric clicked on that link and has disappeared. Ludwig Dingeldine, Romantic Portugal. Yes, Romantic Portugal. I'd watch that. Cancerian, you know, among all you Taurians. It seems to be everybody's a Taurian who watches this show and is part of this community. I also had a really fantastic story. While we're waiting for Adrian to put his clothes on, or his Spartan robe, or whatever he's going to dress up like to come on the show, I have got a lovely little briefly. Well, I saw looking at the PortugalResident.com, and I see organs saved after tire blows at 220 kilometers per hour. And you've got to click on that, haven't you? That's a really well written headline. Organs saved after tire blows at 220 kilometers per hour. And it's just a paragraph. 2 GNR agents. Let me just put this on the screen so you can see it as well. It's only a paragraph, but it's rather good. Oh, Adrian's just getting ready now. Actually, let's get him on the screen, and he can give us his broadcast journalism view of this as well. Hello, mate. How are you? Good morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, let's get him on the screen. I'm going to mute you. What you seem to have there is you're on the show, but you're also listening to it. So turn it off where you are watching it, so we don't get that loop, and then we'll be able to talk to you just fine. Let me see if it's working. What you seem to have there is you're on. So turn off what you were watching on, Adrian, and I'm going to go back to the story while you're sorting that out. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, turn that off and then just stay on the link that I've sent you, which would be great. So organs saved after tire blows out. Here we go. Let me get this on the screen for you. And I think, yeah, just a single paragraph. 2 GNR agents racing to deliver a kidney and a liver for transplant surgery in Porto had a lucky escape. Joel will like this story. When a tyre blew on the vehicle, they were driving at 220 kilometers per hour on the A1 motorway close to Leiria. Say reports. Only the expertise of the driver saved both occupants and left the transported organs intact. That would have been quite a mess, wouldn't it? A GNR patrol concluded the transport where both transport operations were able to go ahead. Nice bit of good news there. So let's see if we've still got this feedback loop from Mr. Senor Caffrey this morning. How are you this morning? Is that working? Oh, I better unmute him. That was only fair. Adrian, good morning. He's right. You're on. I can hear you breathing. Kim.
Hello, can you hear me?
I better unmute him. That was only fair. Adrian, good morning. Oh, sadly, you're still hearing me through what you were watching the show on. So you've got your YouTube browser open, or you've got your Facebook browser open, but we still got a lot of things coming in. A lot of possible names for your vlog. Let me guess. Was it the Skyline or the AMG Mercedes tires that blew? He's a cheerful soul, is old Joel. Right, let's see if Adrian's good now. It's good to go. I think you might be. I heard a positive tapping of the keys there. Adrian, can you hear me? So maybe he's turned his browser off what he's watching on, and now he can't hear me at all. That's a sad thing. Probably what we'll do is we'll get him back on and we'll have a sound check, and just to make sure we can do this properly another time. We'll give you one more go. Adrian, can you hear me now? It appears we can hear him though, can't we? Can hear him tapping on his keyboard there. If you like watching the awkward live TV, you've come to the right place this morning as we try and get Adrian on the screen. Are you there, Adrian? We can hear him tapping, can't we? Should we wait and see if he starts swearing? Or is that unfair to do? No. Can't hear you, mate. We can hear you. I just don't think you can hear me at the moment, unfortunately. So, oh, what a shame. We got so close there. And we very rarely get emojis and emoticons, but we're getting some giggles now on the screen there. He may have the speakers muted. I'm going to put that. I tell you what, you speak to Adrian as well through the comments, okay? So Joel is speaking to Adrian now. You may have the speakers muted, Adrian. See, we can hear him, but he can't hear us. What a shame. Oh, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sound check him after the show, but I'm going to play you the outro now. You've seen him, and now actually, this is what I'm going to show you. Look at this. Yesterday, the Hairy Mary we spoke about, and I wanted to do a bit more research because I wanted to show you what it looks like. That's going to make some people feel very uncomfortable just seeing that. These are the things that can drop on you if you're moving shelves and furniture in Portugal. But get this, the fastest arthropod, according to the 1976 Guinness Book of Records, running 16 inches per second. So get out the way if it's if it suddenly comes out from under your fridge or whatever. If it was scaled up to human size, it would run at 64 kilometers per hour. Thanks to Biology Bizarre for that. Isn't that fabulous? Right, so we've got him twice now. Now I've got me twice as well. That's no good. Do I try the other one? Still got you coming through, I think. That's no good. We got him twice. We're going to leave it there. I'm going to give him a bit of coaching on how to be on the show in just a moment. We can bring him back tomorrow, can't we? Or Thursday. Everybody, have a lovely day. What a wonderful lineup of guests, including two Adrian Catherine. Yeah, bye for now. See you soon.